That rainy night, I got off work early. As I slipped the key into the lock, I heard a woman's laugh from the living room. A soft, suppressed sound, laced with a kind of flirtatious charm I'd never heard from her before. I froze, peeking through the crack in the door. On the sofa, my wife, Emily, was nestled in a man's arms. His hand was roaming restlessly over her waist. "Julian, you're still such a troublemaker," she cooed, giving him a gentle push. Julian Cole. The name was a shard of glass in my gut. Emily's first love, the star quarterback from college, now supposedly a partner at some big-shot law firm in the Loop. In the 5 years we'd been married, Emily had never spoken to me with that tone. I've thought about you all these years." Julian's voice was a low, magnetic hum. "If I hadn't gone to London back then." "Don't," Emily cut him off. "That's all in the past. But you're not happy now, are you?" Emily was silent for a long moment before nodding. "Leo, he doesn't get me. He never has. No, he just knows how to work and make money. He has no idea what romance is." The hand holding my key began to tremble. This woman. The reason I worked my ass off was to give her a better life. I bought her the Prada bag she wanted, traded in for the Audi she had her eye on. This very condo was decorated down to the last detail from her Pinterest boards. And now, she was in another man's arms, claiming I didn't understand her. "Julian, this is wrong," Emily said, suddenly standing up. "What's wrong about it? You love me. How is that wrong?" "But I'm married." "So what? Do you love Leo Foster?" Silence again. This silence was more lethal than any words. She started, her voice barely a whisper. "I don't think I ever did." My heart shattered. 5 years of marriage, dismissed as a mistake. Leave him," Julian said, standing to embrace her. "We can start over." "But Leo's been good to me, and a divorce. It would be messy." "What are you worried about? The condo, the cars, are they all in his name?" Emily nodded. "That's simple. I'll help you figure it out," he said smoothly. "Leo seems like a straight arrow, but the construction industry is a murky business. We can always find some kind of leverage." I almost burst in right then. These two weren't just betraying me. They were plotting to gut me financially. "No, I can't do that to him," Emily said, shaking her head. "Then what's your plan? Spend the rest of your life with a man you don't love?" "I need time to think." Julian sighed. "Fine, I'll give you time. But I've waited 5 years for you. I don't want to wait much longer." They fell into another embrace, kissing as if they'd never let go. I backed away quietly, went down to the stairwell, and smoked my way through half a pack of Marlboros. 30 minutes later, I returned to my front door, making a deliberate amount of noise. When I walked in, Emily was clearing 2 coffee mugs from the table. "Honey, you're home," she chirped, walking over to greet me as if nothing had happened. "Yeah, things wrapped up early, so I headed out," I said, forcing my voice to sound normal. "That's great. I made that corn chowder you love." She headed for the kitchen. I watched her back. This woman, who was just in another man's arms confessing she never loved me, could now slip so seamlessly into the charade. "Hey, did a friend come by today?" I asked casually. "No, why?" Smelled cigarette smoke in the hall. "Oh, probably Mr. Henderson from upstairs. You know how he chain smokes," she said, not even blinking. At dinner, she served me soup and asked if I was tired from work, playing the part of the perfect, caring wife. But I knew it was all an act. "Emily, can I ask you something?" I said, putting down my spoon. "What is it? If one day, your first love came back and found you, what would you do?" Her hand paused midair. Then she smiled. "Why the random question? We've been married for years. What's the point of thinking about that stuff?" "Just curious." "Well, if you're just curious, then I'll just answer," she said, taking my hand. "I choose my husband, of course." "Leo, are you overthinking things?" I looked into her eyes and saw a flicker of panic. "Maybe. Work's been stressful lately. My mind's just been racing," I said, managing a weak smile. Later that night, Emily slid over, pressing her body against mine. Her manufactured passion felt nauseating. She had been with him just hours ago. I gently pushed her away, telling her I was exhausted. She seemed disappointed but didn't push it. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling until dawn. The next morning, I called in sick to work. I needed to find out when Julian Cole really came back to Chicago, and when they had reconnected. Sitting in a corner at a Starbucks, I pulled up Emily's Instagram. She hadn't posted much recently, but one detail caught my eye. 3 months ago, a photo of a single latte with the caption, "Some things never change. #TBT. It was a phrase she used all the time in college. I scrolled through the comments and noticed a new account had liked it, along with a few other old posts. I clicked on it. The profile picture was just a man's back, but I recognized the jacket. Julian Cole had been back for 3 months, and my wife had been cheating on me for just as long. For 3 months, she had smiled at me, talked to me, even initiated sex. I felt sick to my stomach. My phone rang. It was Emily. "Honey, you took a sick day?" "Yeah, have to deal with a few things." "What's wrong? Do you need my help?" "No, you just have a good day at work." "Okay, I'll pick up something nice for dinner on my way home." "Whatever you want." I hung up and scrolled through my contacts until I found the number. Mike Russo, my childhood friend, now a private investigator. It was time to get some proof. Mike was surprised when he answered the phone. "Leo Foster? What's up, man? Long time no talk. I need you to do something for me." "What's that?" "I need you to run surveillance on someone." A brief silence. "Who?" "My wife." A long, heavy sigh came through the phone. An hour later, we were sitting in a dimly lit booth at a downtown bar. Mike looked the same, just with sharper eyes. "All right, lay it on me," he said, lighting a cigarette. I told him everything I saw the night before. When I finished, Mike just shook his head. "Brother, I see this stuff all the time, but are you sure you want to go through with this? Sometimes the truth hurts more." "I have to know." "Okay, I'll take the case," he said, stubbing out his cigarette in the ashtray. "But I'll warn you now, what I find might be worse than you think." "What do you mean? Betrayal like this? It's rarely a one-time thing." His words were like a bucket of ice water over my head. "I'll need about a week." "Fine." Back at the office, I tried to focus, but the image of Emily in Julian's arms kept flashing through my mind. That afternoon, my phone buzzed during a meeting. A text from Emily. "Hey babe, gotta work late tonight. Don't wait up for me for dinner." So, work late? I opened my laptop, went to her firm's website, and found the number for the HR department. "Hello, could you tell me if Emily Vance is scheduled to work late this evening?" "And you are?" "I'm her husband. I'm just trying to coordinate picking her up." "Oh, well, Ms. Vance took a half day today. She left the office after lunch." My hand holding the phone started to shake. She was lying. At 7 that evening, I got home to an empty condo. I sat in the living room, staring at our wedding photo on the wall. Emily was smiling, radiant in her white dress, looking like an angel, and right now that angel was with another man. She got home at 9:30, looking a little tired, her hair slightly disheveled. "Hey, honey, did you eat?" she asked, dropping her purse and walking toward me. I caught a whiff of perfume. It wasn't her usual scent. "I ate. You?" "They ordered us some takeout at the office," she said, sitting next to me. "God, I'm exhausted. We were in meetings all day." I looked straight into her eyes. "What project is so important you had to stay that late?" "It's a new client," she said without a hint of hesitation. "You know how competitive it is right now. Are you working late tomorrow, too?" "Shouldn't have to." I nodded and let it drop. While she was in the shower, I heard her on the phone out on the balcony. Her voice was low, but I caught a few words. "Tomorrow? Be careful. Miss you." The next day, I waited in my car across from her office building. At 6 o'clock, she walked out, but instead of heading for the train, she climbed into a black Mercedes. I followed them. The car eventually pulled up to a high-end hotel downtown. Emily and Julian walked in, hand in hand. I sat in my car, my knuckles white on the steering wheel. 5 years of marriage. It was all a joke. My phone rang. It was Mike. "Leo, I've got something. Talk to me. Your wife and this Julian guy. This isn't new." My stomach dropped. "What do you mean?" "From what I've dug up, they never lost contact. For the 5 years he was in London, he flew back once a year, and he met up with your wife every single time. The world started spinning." "Are you sure?" "I have proof. Hotel surveillance footage, restaurant receipts, and their chat logs." "How did you get the chat logs?" "Don't ask. The point is, your wife has been carrying on with him for the last 5 years. I almost crushed my phone. 5 years. The entire time. She was betraying me when we said our vows. She was thinking of another man on our honeymoon. She was texting him while I was buying her gifts. It gets worse, Mike said, his voice grim. What? The month before you got married, she was with him. My world fell apart. A month before our wedding, I was running around finalizing everything. Booking the venue, buying the rings, planning our honeymoon, and she was sleeping with another man. Leo, you still there? Mike asked, concerned. I'm fine, I managed, taking a deep breath. Keep digging. I want every single detail. You sure about that? I'm sure. I hung up and stared at the hotel entrance. Emily was in there, with him. I lit a cigarette, cracking the window. The cool night air blew in. I remembered the first time I saw her. We were in the university library. She was sitting across from me, reading, the sunlight catching her face. She looked like a goddess. I worked up the courage to talk to her, and she gave me this shy, beautiful smile. I thought that smile was just for me. Now I knew. Even back then, her heart belonged to someone else. I was just the backup plan, the safe, reliable guy who could provide for her while she waited for her true love to come back. The placeholder. At 9, they came out of the hotel. Julian drove her to the entrance of our condo building, and they shared a long, passionate kiss before she got out. I watched from the shadows. 10 minutes later, Emily walked into our home, her face still flushed with satisfaction. Honey, you're back, she said with a bright smile. I looked at her, fighting the urge to vomit. I'm going to take a shower. I feel all sticky, she said, heading for the bathroom. I heard the water start to run. I pulled out my phone and sent a text to Mike. Speed it up. I can't wait a week. His reply came back instantly. You'll have your answers tomorrow afternoon. The next day, I took another day off. I waited at home for Mike's call. Before Emily left for work, she made me breakfast. Honey, are you not feeling well? She asked, touching my forehead. Just a cold. Well, you get some rest. I'll pick up some medicine on my way home. She kissed my forehead and left. Watching her go, I almost laughed. The woman was a phenomenal actress. At 3 in the afternoon, Mike showed up as promised. He was carrying a thick manila envelope. Brother, I'm telling you, you should prepare yourself. Just show me. Mike opened the envelope and spread a series of photos across the coffee table. Hotels, restaurants, parks, even our own home. Every photo was of Emily and Julian, locked in some intimate embrace. Here are the chat logs, he said, pulling out a stack of printed pages. I picked up the first page. A message from Julian to Emily. Miss you. Is Foster out of town again? Can you get away tonight? Last night was amazing. I didn't want to let you go. Emily's replies. I miss you too. He's working late tonight, we can meet. Julian, I think we're soulmates. Why do we have to hide like this? My hands were shaking. Every message was a new cut. And there's this, Mike said, producing one last document. It was a bank statement. For the past 5 years, your wife has been sending Julian Cole $5,000 a month. What? She listed it as a loan, but there's no record of him ever paying it back. I stared at the transfer records, completely stunned. $5,000 a month. Over 5 years, that was $300,000. The money I'd worked my ass off to earn. She was using to support her lover. That's about everything, Mike said, gathering the documents. What are you going to do? I was silent for a long time. I'm going to make them pay. That night, I acted completely normal. I had dinner with Emily, watched some TV, and even chatted with her for a bit. She had no idea I knew everything. Honey, I have to go to New York for a business trip tomorrow, she said, leaning against my shoulder. For how long? Probably 3 or 4 days. That's tough, I said, nodding. It is what it is. It's a dog-eat-dog world out there, she sighed. But once this project is over, we can take a vacation. Just like old times. Just like old times. The irony was staggering. On every one of our past vacations, was she thinking of him? The next morning, Emily left with her suitcase. I walked her down to the lobby. Be safe, I said, hailing a cab for her. You too. Take care of yourself. She stood on her toes and gave me a quick kiss. As the taxi pulled away, I took out my phone and called Mike. She's gone. All right, let's get this started. I went back up to the condo and began to execute my plan. Step 1. Gather more evidence. I knew Emily's laptop password. She'd always used her birthday. So naive. Or maybe she just never thought I'd look. I opened her laptop and found more chat histories. It wasn't just with Julian. She'd talked about it with her best friends. Emily, are you sure it's a good idea to keep this from Leo? What's not good about it? He doesn't know. But he's so good to you. So what? I don't love him. The thought of spending my life with someone I don't love is terrifying. Then why not just get a divorce? A divorce? Am I an idiot? Leo's making 6 figures now. The condo, the investments, they're all appreciating. Why would I leave? What about Julian? Does he know how you feel? Of course, we've talked about it. We're going to wait a bit longer. Let Leo's company grow some more. Then find an opportunity to leave him with nothing. Reading that, I felt a tremor run through my entire body. She hadn't just betrayed me. She was plotting to ruin me, and I, like an idiot, was still working to build a future for her. I kept reading. It got worse. When are you and Julian going to go public? Soon. He's already planning it. He wants to give me a huge, romantic proposal. What about Leo? What about him? We'll just say we grew apart. He's so passive. He'll never make a scene. You don't feel guilty at all. Guilty about what? You can't force feelings. I never said I loved him. He was the one who fell for me. I slammed the laptop shut and sat on the sofa for a long time. In her eyes, I was just the nice guy, the ATM who wouldn't fight back. My phone rang. It was Mike. Leo, good news. What is it? I dug up some dirt on Julian Cole. The guy's not clean. There are some serious issues with his law firm. What kind of issues? Money laundering, tax evasion, a few other financial disputes. I've already passed the information on to the proper authorities. An idea started to form. Meaning he's about to have some big problems. And I found something else, even more interesting. Tell me, Julian Cole is married. What? He got married 3 years ago in the States. His wife is an American citizen, and she's still here. I was floored. The scumbag wasn't just cheating with my wife. He was cheating on his own. Did Emily know? I'm sending you some pictures. See for yourself. A moment later, my phone buzzed. They were wedding photos of Julian and a young woman. She was beautiful, smiling radiantly, and Julian had the same look of deep affection he always gave Emily. Looking at those photos, an idea sparked in my mind. Mike, can you get in touch with this woman? Should be able to. Why? I want to talk to her. What are you planning? Just paying it forward. Her husband wrecked my marriage. The least I can do is let her know the truth. Mike was quiet for a few seconds. Isn't that a little harsh? Harsh. I laughed. They betrayed me for 5 years and planned to take all my money. This is me being merciful. All right, I'll get you her contact info. After the call, I started on the next phase. Since Emily wanted me to be left with nothing, I'd grant her wish, except the one with nothing would be her. I gathered all the documents. The deed to the condo, the car titles, the bank statements. Everything was in my name. That was Emily's biggest mistake. She thought I was too trusting to protect myself. She didn't know my own father had warned me when we got married to always protect my assets. I thought he was being cynical back then. Turns out he was just wise. That night, Emily called from her hotel. Honey, I made it. Good. Are you tired? A little. By the way, my meetings tomorrow might run really late, so I probably won't have time to call. Okay. You focus on your work. I'm gonna get some rest then. Love you. She said she loved me. A woman who was actively betraying me was telling me she loved me. This world was absurd. Love you too, I said, the words like poison on my tongue. I hung up and immediately called Mike. Did you find the wife? Got her. Her name is Sarah. She's based out of Los Angeles. I sent her your contact info on LinkedIn. She should be in touch. Does she know about Julian? Not a clue. She thinks he's in Chicago to expand the business. Another person kept in the dark. I almost felt sorry for this Sarah. Half an hour later, I got a new connection request on LinkedIn. The first message from Sarah was direct. Hello, are you Leo Foster? I replied, yes, we need to talk. About what? Instead of answering, I sent her a few of the photos. The ones of Julian and Emily kissing. A series of question marks came back almost instantly. This is my husband. Who is this woman? My wife. For the rest of the conversation, I used a translation app to communicate. Sarah was shocked, then furious. She said she had no idea Julian had another woman. She thought their marriage was happy. Reading her messages, I realized we were both victims. Leo, what are you going to do? I'm not sure yet. What about you? I'm booking a flight to Chicago. I need to see this with my own eyes. An even bolder plan began to form in my mind. Sarah, I have an idea. Are you interested? The next day, I began step 2. I met with a lawyer friend of mine to discuss divorce proceedings. Leo, what's going on? My friend asked, surprised. Nothing, just getting some information. I thought you and Emily were doing great. Hypothetically, I said, if a wife cheats on her husband, what kind of damages can he claim? His expression turned serious. If you have concrete proof of infidelity, you can sue for damages, and you'd have a major advantage in the division of assets. How big of an advantage? Depends on the specifics. If the fault is egregious enough, you could potentially leave her with nothing. That was all I needed to hear. Are there any other options? What do you mean? Besides a civil suit, are there any other legal avenues? He thought for a moment. If it involves illegal transfer of assets, you could look at criminal charges. Things like embezzlement, fraud. Understood. After leaving the law firm, I went to the bank. I transferred all our savings into a new account under my name only. I also froze our joint checking account, claiming suspected fraudulent activity. With that done, I called Mike. How's it going? Smoothly. The IRS is officially investigating Julian's firm. He's going to be in hot water very soon. Good. What about Sarah? Her flight lands in Chicago tomorrow night. I checked my calendar. Tomorrow was Friday. According to Emily, she was coming home tomorrow. The timing was perfect. Mike, I need a favor tomorrow. Name it. I need you to film something for me. The next afternoon, I got a call from an unknown number. Hello? Am I speaking with Mr. Leo Foster? This is he. This is Agent Miller from the Internal Revenue Service. We'd like to ask you a few questions. My heart skipped a beat. About what? It's regarding your wife, Emily Vance's, bank records. We've noticed some unusual transfers. What kind of unusual transfers? Over the last few years, she's made multiple large transfers to the same account. We need to verify the purpose of these payments. I feigned ignorance. I'm not sure. She never mentioned anything to me. Would you be available to come down to our office today? We'll need you to provide some documentation. Of course, I'm on my way. At the IRS office, they showed me the detailed records. $300,000, wired out over 5 years. Each transaction logged with a precise date and amount. Mr. Foster, are you certain you were unaware of these transfers? The agent asked. Completely? I said, shaking my head. I'm usually busy with work. She handles most of our day-to-day finances. And are you familiar with the recipient? A Mr. Julian Cole? I've heard the name. I think he was a college classmate of hers. The agent jotted down my statement. We may need to investigate the purpose of these funds. If they are determined to be part of a tax evasion scheme, there will be legal consequences. I understand. As I left the building, I called Mike. How'd it go? Perfectly. Julian's problems just got a lot bigger. It's not just his firm anymore. Now your wife is directly implicated. And Sarah? She's here. She's furious and ready for a confrontation. Good. Tell her to wait. Tonight's the big show. At 6, Emily came home. She seemed to be in a good mood. Even brought me some Garrett popcorn from the airport. Honey, did you miss me? She asked, linking her arm with mine. I did, I said, forcing a smile. I missed you too. I was so sick of meetings. All I wanted was to get back home to you. Her acting was flawless. If I didn't know the truth, I would have been completely taken in. Hey, since it's the weekend, let's go out and do something tomorrow, she suggested. Where to? Anywhere. As long as I'm with you. She kissed my cheek and went to the kitchen to start dinner. Watching her, I remembered the early days of our marriage. I truly believed she loved me. Now I realized it was an act from the very beginning. A 5-year performance. During dinner, my phone rang. An unknown number. Who's that, honey? Emily asked. Don't know the number, I said, declining the call. A few minutes later, it rang again. Same number. You should probably get it. It might be important, she said. I answered. A woman's voice. May I speak to Mr. Leo Foster, please? This is he. This is Sarah, Julian Cole's wife. I'm in Chicago, and I'd like to meet with you. I pretended I couldn't understand. I'm sorry, what did you say? Julian Cole, the man who's been with your wife. I cut her off quickly. Sorry, I don't speak Spanish. I think you have the wrong number. I hung up. Emily was staring at me. A flicker of panic in her eyes. Who was that? No idea. Sounded like a telemarketer speaking Spanish or something. She nodded. but I could tell she was on edge. My guess was confirmed when the phone rang a third time. This time, a different woman spoke in perfect English. Mr. Foster. My name is Maria. I'm translating for Sarah. She would like to meet with you. I glanced at Emily. Her face was already losing its color. About what? I asked. About Julian Cole and Emily Vance. I repeated the names loudly, deliberately. What? Julian Cole and Emily Vance. Emily's fork clattered onto her plate. Who are you? Why are you calling me? I continued the act. Because we are both victims. Tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, the Starbucks on Michigan Avenue. I don't know what you're talking about. You will tomorrow. The call ended. A heavy, awkward silence fell over the room. Emily's face was ashen. Leo, what did that person say? She asked, her voice trembling. I'm not sure, I said, feigning confusion. Something about you and Julian. He's your old classmate, right? What could it be about? I don't know. Emily stammered, looking down. It must be some kind of mistake. Probably, I said, nodding. But she wants me to meet her tomorrow. I think I'll go see what this is all about. Don't. Emily suddenly grabbed my arm. Don't go. Why not? I think it might be a scam. You know, those new phishing scams. All the more reason to go check it out. If it's a scam, I'm calling the police. Leo, please, I'm begging you. Just don't go, she pleaded, her eyes welling up with tears. Seeing her like this, a thrill of satisfaction shot through me. Finally, she was getting a taste of her own medicine. Emily, are you hiding something from me? I asked, looking directly into her eyes. No, of course not, she said, shaking her head. I'm just worried about your safety. Fine. Then you'll come with me tomorrow. With you. Yes, that way you won't have to worry. Emily stared at me for a few seconds, then nodded slowly. Okay, we'll go together. She didn't sleep a wink that night. She tossed and turned until morning. I, on the other hand, slept like a baby. The next morning, Emily looked haggard. Leo, maybe we shouldn't go, she said, a last-ditch effort. Why not? I just don't think it's necessary. But I'm curious, I insisted. And that woman said Julian is her husband. I want to know what's going on. Hearing that, Emily's last shred of hope vanished. At 9:30, we left for the coffee shop. In the car, Emily was shaking. Leo, I need to tell you something, she finally said. What is it? She paused for a long time. I have been in touch with Julian. I feigned shock. What do you mean? We've met up a few times just to talk. But that's it. I swear. Nothing else happened. Then why did you hide it from me? Because I was afraid you'd misunderstand. I let out a cold laugh. What's the point of saying this now? We're about to meet his wife. Emily closed her eyes, tears streaming down her face. At 10 o'clock sharp, we arrived at the Starbucks. A blonde woman was sitting in a corner with another woman. As we approached, Sarah stood up. She launched into a string of English, and her translator relayed the message. She asks, "Are you the husband who doesn't know the truth?" I nodded, then looked at Emily. Her face was chalk white, her body trembling. Sarah spoke again. The translator continued. She wants you to see something. Sarah pulled out her phone and played a video. It was a clear shot of Julian and Emily kissing passionately outside the hotel. I acted as if I'd been struck by lightning, whipping my head around to face Emily. What is this? Emily couldn't speak, only sob. Sarah played more videos, showed me more photos. All of them were of Julian and Emily. Finally, she produced a document. This is her marriage certificate to Julian Cole, the translator said. They were married in Los Angeles 3 years ago. I stared at the certificate, then back at Emily. Did you know he was married? Emily shook her head frantically. I didn't know. I swear. I had no idea. When the translator relayed this, Sarah grew even angrier. She stood up, pointed at Emily, and unleashed another torrent of words. The translator said, "She's calling you a whore. She says you've ruined 2 families. I didn't." Emily tried to defend herself. Shut up. I exploded. What's the point of saying anything now? Everyone in the Starbucks was staring at us. I grabbed Emily's arm and pulled her to her feet. We're going home. On the drive back, Emily cried the whole way. Leo, I was wrong. I was so wrong. What good does that do now? I said coldly. Can you forgive me? I'll never do it again. Forgive you? I laughed. You cheat on me for 5 years. And now you think a simple, I'm sorry fixes everything? You know about the 5 years? She gasped, staring at me. I know everything. I pulled the car over and took out the file Mike had given me, including the $300,000 you wired him. When she saw the photos and chat logs, Emily completely fell apart. You knew all along. I've known for a week. Then why didn't you just confront me? Because I wanted you to know what betrayal feels like. I said, looking at her. How does it feel? Emily stared at me, as if seeing me for the first time. Leo, you've changed. That's right. I have, I said, starting the car again. And you and Julian can take all the credit for teaching me what the real world is like. Back at the condo, Emily sat on the sofa, mute. I ignored her and started packing a bag. After a long silence, she finally spoke. Leo, can we talk? What's there to talk about? I didn't even look up. I know I was wrong, but this happened. We have to deal with it. I stopped what I was doing and looked at her. Deal with it? How do you want to deal with it? I'll do anything to make it up to you, she said, her eyes filled with hope. Can we please start over? I almost laughed out loud. Start over? Did she think this was some TV drama? Emily, what do you think I am? You're my husband. No, I'm your ATM. Your live-in maid, I said, walking toward her. In your eyes, I was never a real partner. That's not true, Enough. I cut her off. I've seen your chats with your friends. I know exactly what you think of me. The nice guy, the doormat who won't fight back. Emily's face grew even paler. Remember what you said? I continued with a sneer. You said I was so passive I'd never make a scene. You two even planned on how to leave me with nothing. You what? The facts are the facts. My voice rose. 5 years. For 5 damn years, you enjoyed the life I gave you while sleeping with another man. And you think I should just forgive you? Emily finally broke down, sobbing uncontrollably. I know I was wrong. I really do. But Leo, we were married all those years. Don't we have any connection at all? Connection? The absurdity made me laugh. Do you feel a connection to me? Yes, I do. I really do. Then why did you betray me? She just cried harder. Because I love him. I've loved him for 10 years. That sentence was a knife straight to the heart. But I didn't let it show. It only fueled my anger. You love him? Then why did you marry me? Because I thought he was never coming back. So I was your backup plan? No, it wasn't like that. Then what was it like? I pressed, moving closer. Tell me, what was I to you? Emily couldn't meet my eyes. After a long silence, she whispered, I thought that over time, I would learn to love you. But you didn't. She had no answer. All right, stop the act, I said, turning back toward the bedroom. I've already contacted a lawyer. We're getting a divorce. No. Emily scrambled over and grabbed my arm. I don't want a divorce. You don't get a choice, I said, shaking her off. Even if you fight it, I'll sue for divorce and I will win. What about our assets? Hearing that, I saw her true colors shine through. Even now, all she could think about was the money. Don't worry, I won't leave you with nothing, I said, deliberately misleading her. A flicker of hope appeared in her eyes, but my next words extinguished it. The condo is in my name. The car is in my name. The savings are in my name. Legally, the most you'll get is a fraction of it. But I contributed over the years. Contributed? I scoffed. Your contribution was funneling the money I earned to another man. Emily stared, dumbfounded. Oh, and by the way, the IRS is investigating those wire transfers. If they're proven to be illegal gains for him or tax evasion on your part, you could face criminal charges. What? $300,000. Emily, did you really think I wouldn't find out? She collapsed onto the floor, utterly broken. Just then, my phone rang. It was Mike. Leo, they arrested Julian Cole. What? Just now. He's being brought in on suspicion of money laundering and tax evasion. I looked at Emily, who was staring at me with hollow eyes. Got it. I hung up and said to her, your lover just got arrested. What? Julian Cole, taken into custody for financial crimes. Emily's face was a mask of disbelief. That's impossible. How could he what? Did you think he was some kind of saint? I sat down across from her. A married man carrying on an affair with another man's wife. What kind of person did you think he was? He's not like that. Not like that. I pulled out my phone. Want me to show you pictures of him with his other women? She looked at me in shock. Did you honestly think you were his one and only? I said with a cold laugh. He has a wife in L. You in Chicago, another one in Miami, and probably one in New York too. Impossible. You were just one of several women he kept on the side. That final statement shattered her completely. She curled up on the floor like an abandoned child. Seeing her like that, I felt nothing. No pity. No sympathy. This was the price of betrayal. Emily, wake up, I said, standing. Your great love story was nothing but a scam. I walked to the door. I'll be gone for a few days. By the time I get back, I expect you to be moved out. Where are you going? That's no longer your concern. I left with my suitcase. In the elevator, I sent a text to Sarah. It's all going according to plan. She replied quickly. Thank you. I'm already starting the divorce proceedings. Me too. Stepping out of the building, I took a deep breath. The air of freedom had never smelled so good. 3 days later, I returned. Emily was gone. She'd left a letter on the counter. Leo, I know I have no right to ask for your forgiveness. I was wrong. And I'm sorry for what I put you through. I've moved back in with my mother. I won't contest the divorce. I just want to say that even though I didn't love you, you were a good husband for these past 5 years. I hope you find someone who truly loves you. I'm sorry. I read it, then tore it into tiny pieces. Too little, too late. The next day, I went to my lawyer's office. Leo, your case is straightforward, he said. With clear evidence of infidelity and fraudulent transfer of assets, you can demand she walks away with nothing. How long will it take? If she doesn't contest it, it can be finalized in a month. Good. Let's get started. A week later, I got a text from Emily. I agree to the terms of the divorce, but I hope you can give me some time to pay off my debts. Debts? I called Mike. How much does she owe? Around 50 grand. She borrowed it all recently. Said she needed it for Julian's legal fees. I laughed. Even now, she was still spending money on that man. Forget her. Those are her choices. A few days later, a friend told me he'd seen Emily. Her creditors had caught up with her, and she'd started working at a nightclub to make ends meet. Man, your ex-wife is having a rough time. Is she? I said flatly. Not my problem. And it wasn't. Her choices, her consequences. A month later, the divorce was finalized. I was a single man again. That night, I opened a bottle of good whiskey to celebrate. Not the divorce, but my newfound freedom. I suddenly remembered something Emily had said when we first met. Leo, let's love each other forever. Love each other forever. What a beautiful lie. But it was for the best. At least now, I knew what was real and what was fake. The first month after the divorce was quiet. I went to work, came home, and spent my weekends reading or listening to music. No one asked where I was going. No one cared what time I got home. I hadn't felt this kind of freedom in a long time. My colleagues knew I was divorced, but no one pried. They were just more polite, and a few occasionally offered to set me up with someone. I politely declined each time. I wasn't ready for a new relationship. I needed to clear the lingering shadows from my mind first. One afternoon, my assistant, Kevin, knocked on my office door. Mr. Foster, there's a woman here to see you. Who is it? She said her name is Vance. My stomach tightened. It had to be Emily. Send her up. A few minutes later, Emily appeared at my door. She was much thinner, her face gaunt. Her once perfect makeup was gone, replaced by a careless application that didn't hide her exhaustion. All the glamour was gone. Leo, sorry to bother you at work, she said, her voice small. What do you want? I asked, not inviting her to sit. I need to ask you for a favor. What is it? I owe some money, and I was wondering if you could. No. I cut her off flatly. Emily froze, then gave a bitter smile. I know I have no right to ask, but I'm desperate. That money was for Julian. It has nothing to do with me. I know, but... No buts, I said, looking at her directly. Emily, we're divorced. Your problems are not my problems anymore. Tears welled in her eyes. Leo, I know I hurt you, but for the sake of the years we were married. The years we were married? I scoffed. You betrayed me for 5 years, and now you want to bring that up? You should leave. I have work to do. Emily just stood there. Leo, can you really be this heartless? Heartless. I stood up. When you and Julian were planning to leave me with nothing, were you thinking about being heartless then? She had nothing to say. Go. And don't come back here again. Emily gave me one last, long look, then turned and left. Watching her go, I felt nothing. My capacity for sympathy for her had been completely depleted. That evening, I got a call from Mike. "Hey man, did your ex stop by your office today? How did you know?" "I was in the neighborhood for another case and saw her leaving your building." "Yeah. She came to borrow money. Did you give her any?" "No." "Good," Mike said. "With women like that, you help them once, and they'll latch onto you for life." "How is she doing?" I couldn't help but ask. "It's rough. Deep in debt. Creditors after her. I heard she's working at some club, but at her age, she's not making much." "And Julian? Still behind bars. His case is more serious than they initially thought. He's probably going away for a long time." After the call, I thought about a night 3 years ago. Emily had a high fever, and I carried her to 3 different emergency rooms before we found one that wasn't swamped. In the ER, she held my hand and said, "Leo, I'm so lucky to have you." I thought she meant it. Now I realized it was just an actor delivering her lines. A week later, I ran into Emily again, right outside my condo building. She was crouched in a corner, arguing with someone on the phone. "I swear I don't have the money. Just give me a little more time. I'm not trying to skip out on you. I'm just in a really tough spot. Please, I'm begging you, just stop calling me." Her voice was thick with tears. I tried to walk around her, but she saw me. "Leo." She stood up and ran toward me. "Don't worry. I'm not here to ask for money." "Then what do you want?" I wanted to say I'm sorry." I looked at her, saying nothing. "I know I did a lot of terrible things, and I know you'll never forgive me, but I've had a lot of time to think, and I was truly awful to you." "Are you done?" I also wanted to say, "You're a good man. You'll find a woman 1,000 times better than me." After saying that, she turned and hurried away. Watching her retreating figure, I felt a mix of emotions, but then I realized this was probably just another one of her schemes. Show weakness, gain sympathy, and eventually, get the money. I shook my head and went inside. The next day, I heard the news. Emily had been beaten by her creditors and was in the hospital. Her mother called me, sobbing hysterically. "Leo, I know Emily wronged you, but she's in a terrible state. For my sake, can you please help her? Mrs. Vance, Emily and I are divorced." "I know, but you were together for 5 years. 5 years. There was that phrase again. "Ma'am, it's not that I don't want to help. I can't. She owes too much money. I'm just a regular guy with a salary. I don't have that kind of cash." "Then what am I going to do? I'm an old woman. I can't help her." I was silent for a long time. "Mrs. Vance, I don't know if I should say this." "Go on." "Emily's situation. It's the result of her own choices. When she chose to betray her marriage, when she chose to give money to another man, she chose these consequences. She needs to be the one to bear them. But she knows she was wrong now. And knowing you're wrong erases the consequences?" My voice turned cold. "Mrs. Vance, there are no do-overs in life." After hanging up, I thought for a long time. Her mother wasn't wrong. She was just a parent worried about her child. But I had already paid enough for that child. It was someone else's turn. That evening, I got an unexpected video call from Sarah. "Leo, how are you?" "I'm good. You?" "I'm good too. Our divorce is final. Congratulations on your freedom." "You too," she said with a small smile. "I heard Emily is having a hard time." "She is, but she brought it on herself. I actually feel a little sorry for her." "Why?" "Because we were both deceived by the same man. In a way, we're both victims." I thought about it, and she was right. "But you're different from her," I said. "You were deceived. She made a choice." "That's true," Sarah nodded. "But anyway, it's all in the past. We both need to move forward." "You're right." "Leo, can I ask you something?" "What is it?" "Do you hate me? Because my showing up brought the truth to light and ruined your marriage." I shook my head. "I don't hate you. In fact, I'm grateful to you." "Why?" "Because you showed me the truth. If it weren't for you, I might have been living a lie for many more years." "That's a relief," Sarah said. "I was always worried you'd blame me." "Never. The truth is always better than a lie, no matter how painful." We chatted for a little while longer before ending the call. After we hung up, I suddenly felt a weight lift from my shoulders. Sarah was right. It was over. I had to look forward. 2 months later, my life had settled into a new normal. Without the drama at home, I could pour all my energy into work, and my performance was better than ever. The company was launching a major new project, and I was appointed project director. It meant a promotion and a raise, but also more responsibility. I welcomed the busy, fulfilling feeling. One afternoon, I was in a conference room with a client when Kevin knocked. "Mr. Foster, sorry to interrupt. There's someone here to see you. Says it's urgent." I frowned. "Who?" "An older woman. She says she's your ex-wife's mother." My heart sank. I excused myself from the meeting. "Sorry. I need to handle a personal matter. I'll be right back." Outside the conference room, Emily's mother was sitting on a sofa in the reception area. She looked exhausted, her eyes red and swollen from crying. "Mrs. Vance, what are you doing here?" "Leo, it's Emily," she said, her voice breaking as she started to cry again. A knot of dread formed in my stomach. What happened to her? She jumped. The world tilted on its axis, and I nearly lost my balance. "What?" "Last night, she jumped from the roof of her apartment building." The old woman's sobs grew louder. "She's in the hospital. She hasn't woken up." My mind went completely blank. Even though we were divorced, even though she had betrayed me, the news was a profound shock. What did the doctors say? They said it's not good. There could be permanent damage. I fell silent. "Mrs. Vance, I'm in a meeting right now. As soon as I'm done, I'll head to the hospital." "Thank you, Leo. I knew you were still a good person." After she left, I returned to the meeting, but my mind was elsewhere. Couldn't focus. Why would she jump? Was it the debt? Or something else? As soon as the meeting ended, I drove straight to the hospital. Outside the ICU, I saw a few familiar faces. Emily's mother, a couple of her friends, and Julian Cole's mother. "Leo, you're here," Emily's mom said, a flicker of hope in her eyes. "How is she?" "Still in a coma. The doctors said her injuries are severe." I looked through the glass window into the ICU. Emily lay on the bed, tubes connected to her body, her face as white as the sheets. Looking at my former wife, I felt a complex storm of emotions. "Doctor, what's her prognosis?" I asked the attending physician. "Are you family?" "Her ex-husband." The doctor nodded grimly. "The situation is not good. Her spine sustained serious damage. Even if she wakes up, it's very likely she'll be paralyzed." My chest felt tight. Paralyzed. For a 30-year-old woman, that word was a life sentence. Is there any other possibility? Very slim. It would take a miracle. I stayed at the hospital late into the night. Back home, I couldn't sleep. My mind kept replaying everything. How did it come to this? If I had just loaned her the money, would she have avoided this path? But then I thought, it wasn't my responsibility. Her choices, her consequences. I had already done more than enough. The next day, I went back to the hospital. Emily was still unconscious. The doctors said her condition was deteriorating, and that the family should prepare for the worst. "Leo, can't you do something?" Emily's mother pleaded, grabbing my hand. "The doctors say she needs surgery, and it's very expensive. We can't afford it." "How much does she need?" $500,000. $500,000. It wasn't an astronomical sum for me, but it was significant. "Mrs. Vance, I need to think about it. I know it's a lot to ask, but besides you, we have no one else to turn to." I looked at Emily on the hospital bed, my heart a tangled mess. This woman had betrayed me, hurt me, and now I was the one she needed to save her. Life was so damn ironic. Let me think about it. That night, I sat at home, drinking. Memories of my time with Emily flooded my mind. The good and the bad. Maybe our relationship was a mistake from the start, but those happy memories were real, at least for me. My phone rang. It was Mike. "Man, I heard about your ex-wife." "Yeah. You're not getting soft, are you?" I didn't answer. "Leo, get a grip," Mike said, his voice serious. "That woman has hurt you enough. You can't keep paying for her mistakes." "I know." "Then what are you doing at the hospital?" "I don't know," I said with a bitter laugh. "Maybe I just wanted to see how her story ends. The ending is pretty clear. She ruined her own life for a man who wasn't worth it. This is karma." "Maybe. Brother, take my advice. Stay out of this. Let her family handle it. It has nothing to do with you." I hung up and kept drinking until I passed out. The next morning, the hospital called. "Mr. Foster, Emily Vance is awake. She's asking for you." I rushed to the hospital. Emily had been moved to a regular room, but she was still very weak. When I walked in, she managed a faint smile. "Leo, you came. How are you feeling?" "Still alive," she whispered. "The doctor said I'll probably be paralyzed." I didn't know what to say. "I know what you're thinking," she said, her eyes on me. "You're thinking I deserve this, right?" "I wasn't thinking that. It's okay. I think I deserve it too." She closed her eyes. "Leo, I need to apologize to you." "You already have." "No, I want to do it properly, completely." She opened her eyes again. "I am so sorry for what I did to you, to our marriage, and for taking your 5 years of hard work for granted." I listened quietly. "I know it doesn't mean anything now, but I want you to know you're a good man. You deserve to be truly loved." "And you? Did you ever love me?" She was silent for a long time. "I thought I did, but now I know. I never really loved you." The words were brutal, but I was grateful for her honesty. "What about Julian? Do you still love him?" "No," she said with a hollow laugh. "A man who can deceive so many women for his own gain. What's there to love?" "Then why did I jump?" She shook her head. "It wasn't because of him. It was because of me. I felt like my life had no meaning. And now, she stared at the ceiling. "I don't know. Maybe this is God's punishment." We sat in silence. After a while, she spoke again. "Leo, can you promise me one thing?" "What is it?" "Forget me. Live a good life." I nodded. "And, if it's possible, forgive me." I looked at her, and the resentment I'd been holding on to seemed to slowly dissolve. "I will." She smiled. It was the most sincere smile I had ever seen from her. "Thank you." Leaving the hospital, I drove aimlessly through the city. Emily's words echoed in my head. "Forget me. Live a good life." Easier said than done. How do you just forget 5 years of marriage? But I knew she was right. I had to let go of the past and start over. That evening, I got a strange call. "Mr. Foster, this is Kevin. I wanted to report something to you." "What is it?" "About Ms. Vance's medical bills. Someone paid them anonymously." "What do you mean?" "Someone went to the hospital's finance department and paid her entire bill in cash. The person who took the payment said the donor specifically requested to remain anonymous." I was stunned. Who would pay Emily's bills? Her family didn't have the money, Julian was in jail, and her friends were all just getting by. Did they give a description of the person? They said it was a middle-aged man. Looked pretty wealthy. A middle-aged man? I racked my brain but couldn't think of anyone. After I hung up, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The next day, I went back to the hospital. Emily seemed to be in better spirits. "Leo, you're back." "Yeah. Wanted to see how you were recovering." "The doctor said my lower body will probably never have feeling again," she said, her tone calm, as if she'd already accepted it. "Don't be so pessimistic. Medicine is always advancing. There might be a breakthrough. Even if there isn't, I'm going to live my life," she said, looking at me. "I've thought it through. No matter what, being alive is better than being dead." I nodded, impressed by her strength. "By the way," I asked, "do you know who paid your medical bills?" "What?" She looked at me, surprised. "Someone paid my bills?" "You didn't know?" "No. Who would?" She thought for a moment. "Could it be Julian's family?" "Maybe, but I knew that was unlikely. His family had always been cold toward Emily. So who was it?" As I was leaving the hospital, I saw a familiar figure in the parking garage. It was our company's CEO, Mr. Harrison. "Mr. Harrison, what are you doing here?" He seemed a bit flustered to see me. "Oh, Leo, just visiting a friend." "What friend?" "An old friend." His answer was evasive, but a thought suddenly struck me. "Mr. Harrison, do you know Emily Vance?" His expression changed. "Why do you ask?" "No reason, just curious." "Leo, some things are better left unquestioned," he said, patting my shoulder. "You're a smart man. You should know what to ask and what not to ask." He walked away, leaving me standing there. Watching him go, a wild suspicion began to form. Could it have been Mr. Harrison who paid her bills? But what was their connection? I thought back and suddenly remembered something. 3 years ago, at the company's annual gala, I had brought Emily. Mr. Harrison had been especially gracious to her, even making a point to toast her. I'd assumed it was just professional courtesy. Now it seemed there might be more to it. Back home, the more I thought about it, the more uneasy I felt. If Mr. Harrison and Emily had some kind of relationship, then my promotions, my raises, could they have been because of that? The thought made my skin crawl. If that was true, I had been living under someone else's favor all this time. The next day at work, I found an opportunity to speak with the head of HR, an older guy named Dave. Dave, can I ask you something? Sure. What's up? My promotions over the last few years. Was there any special reason for them? Dave glanced around, then lowered his voice. Leo, why are you asking about this all of a sudden? No reason, just curious. Curiosity killed the cat, he said, shaking his head. Some things are better left unknown. Dave, just tell me. I swear I won't say a word. He hesitated, then sighed. All right, if you have to know. Your promotions were special. What do you mean? Mr. Harrison personally instructed us to groom you for leadership. Why? That, I don't know. Dave looked at me pointedly. Leo, did you piss someone off? Mr. Harrison's attitude toward you has shifted lately. My heart sank. What kind of shift? He's hinted that you might not be suitable for your current position anymore. What? I don't know the details. Just watch your back. Leaving the HR office, I felt sick. My suspicion was right. Mr. Harrison was connected to Emily, and my career had been tied to that connection. Now that Emily was out of the picture, his attitude toward me had changed. It meant I was about to lose my job. That afternoon, Mr. Harrison's assistant summoned me to his office. Leo, have a seat. His tone was much colder than before. Mr. Harrison, you wanted to see me? Yes, he said, looking me in the eye. The company has decided to restructure some departments. Your position may be affected. So, it was happening. What kind of change? We're still discussing the details, but you should be prepared. Is it because of my performance? No, he shook his head. It's for other reasons. Other reasons. We both knew what they were. Mr. Harrison, I want to ask you a question. What is it? What is your relationship with my ex-wife? His face instantly darkened. What are you implying? I know you paid her medical bills. Mr. Harrison was silent for a long time. Leo, some things are best left alone. But this is about my career. Your career won't be affected. I'll arrange another position for you. Another position? A less demanding role. But your salary will remain the same. A less demanding role. A nice way of saying he was putting me on the shelf. Mr. Harrison, can I at least know your relationship with her? He stared at me for a long time before finally speaking. She's my daughter. What? The room started to spin. Your daughter. To be precise, my illegitimate daughter, he said in a low voice. Her mother was my assistant years ago. She became pregnant. I gave her a sum of money to raise the child, on the condition that our relationship remained a secret. I was completely stunned. Emily was Mr. Harrison's daughter? Then our marriage. So you've been looking out for her all this time? Yes. Her college tuition, her first job, your promotions. You're saying my promotions were because of her? At first, yes, he admitted, but later, I saw that you were genuinely talented, which is why I continued to support you. I felt like the world's biggest fool. All these years, I thought I had earned my position through hard work. It was all because of Emily. And now that you're divorced, that connection is severed, he said, looking at me. But as I promised, I won't let you be treated unfairly. Not treated unfairly? Sidelining me was his idea of fairness. Mr. Harrison, I have one last question. What? Did you know she was cheating on me? His face grew even darker. I knew. Then why didn't you stop her? I tried. She wouldn't listen, he sighed. The affairs of young people. How can an old man like me interfere? So you just watched as she destroyed our marriage? Leo, you can't force feelings. Since she didn't love you, there was no point in forcing it. Hearing that, I lost all respect for him. This man would sacrifice anyone for his daughter, including me. Mr. Harrison, I understand, I said, standing up. Please arrange the transfer as soon as possible. I'll be waiting. Leo, don't be emotional. I'm not being emotional, I said with a cold laugh. I'm just finally seeing reality. Walking out of his office, my mind was a whirlwind. I had been living a giant lie. My career, my marriage, my life. It had all been manipulated by someone else. It was time to take back control. That night, I stayed up all night, planning my next move. The situation was clear. Mr. Harrison was Emily's father. My career had been built on that connection. And now that I was divorced, my position was no longer secure. But I refused to be a passive victim. I had to seize the initiative. The next morning, I got to work. First, I compiled a portfolio of my achievements over the years, the projects I had personally led, the revenue I had generated, and testimonials from clients. This was proof of my actual ability, not anyone's charity. Next, I started contacting headhunters. With my experience and track record, finding a new platform wouldn't be difficult, especially since I had strong relationships with several key clients. By the afternoon, I had heard back from 3 different recruitment firms. All of them had promising positions to recommend. One even offered to connect me with senior management at a rival company. Mr. Foster, with your qualifications, you could easily move to a more senior role at a better company, the consultant told me over the phone. And the compensation would certainly be higher. I need to think about it. Of course. But opportunities like this don't wait. Talent like yours is in high demand. After the call, my decision was made. If Mr. Harrison was going to sideline me, I would leave on my own terms. The third day, I took several important clients out to dinner. Over the meal, I hinted that I might be looking for a new opportunity. Leo, are you leaving? Asked Mr. Davis, my biggest client. I'm considering it. Well, wherever you go, we go with you, he said bluntly. We trust you, not the company. His words were a huge vote of confidence. With client support, the risk of jumping ship was much lower. On the 4th day, I received a surprising message. The CEO of a major competitor wanted to meet me. Mr. Foster, I've heard great things about you, he said, his tone respectful. We're expanding into new markets and need a leader like you. Thank you for the kind words. We're prepared to offer you a vice president position, a 50% salary increase, and stock options. The offer was incredibly tempting. A higher title, better pay, and most importantly, freedom from Mr. Harrison's control. I need some time to consider. Of course, but I hope you'll give me an answer soon. Back at my company, I began my preparations in secret. I organized my personal files, backed up important documents, and quietly sounded out a few of my trusted subordinates about the possibility of joining me. I had to be careful not to raise any suspicion. Just then, the hospital called. Mr. Foster, Emily would like to see you. I hesitated, but decided to go. Emily's condition had improved slightly. At least she seemed more alert. Leo, I heard you're changing jobs. I was surprised. How did you know? Someone told me, she said with a faint, bitter smile. My father. Hearing her openly acknowledge Mr. Harrison as her father actually made me feel a sense of relief. Since you know, I won't hide it. Yes, I'm leaving. Is it because of me? It's because I want a level playing field, I said, sitting by her bed. Emily, how much of my success over the years was my own, and how much of it was because of you? She was quiet for a long time. Most of it was your own hard work. Most of it. In the beginning, it was because of me, but later, it was because of your talent. She looked at me. Leo, you're much more capable than you think. Then why didn't you love me? The question had been buried inside me for so long, and it finally came out. A flash of pain crossed her eyes. Because I was young and stupid, she whispered. I thought love was supposed to be this dramatic, heart-pounding thing. And I couldn't give you that? It's not that you couldn't. It's that I didn't know how to appreciate it. Tears streamed down her face. Now I understand. Real love isn't about passion. It's about companionship, responsibility, and being there for each other. It's too late for that now. Yes, it's too late, she said, wiping her tears. But I hope you find someone who truly loves you. I nodded. I will. And about your job. Don't worry about my father, she said. You have the right to choose your own path. Are you going to talk to him? I will. I'll tell him not to let my problems affect your future. Leaving the hospital, the last weight was lifted from my shoulders. With Emily's blessing, I had no more reservations. On the 5th day, I formally submitted my resume to the rival company. That afternoon, I was called in for an interview. It went smoothly. They were very impressed with my experience and vision. Mr. Foster, we've decided to make you an offer, the CEO said. When can you start? I'll need 1 month to transition out of my current role. No problem. Leaving the interview, I called the headhunter. Congratulations, Mr. Foster. This is a fantastic opportunity. Thank you. That evening, I started drafting my resignation letter. I wrote and rewrote it several times. The final version was simple and professional. Mr. Harrison, due to personal and professional development needs, I have decided to resign from my position. Thank you for the opportunities the company has provided over the years. I will ensure a smooth transition of my duties over the next month. Sincerely, Leo Foster. On the 6th day, I placed the letter on Mr. Harrison's desk. Atena, M. He called me into his office. Leo, why are you resigning? For a better opportunity. Is it because of the position change? I can reconsider. No, I shook my head. Mr. Harrison, we both know the truth. There's no future for me here anymore. He was silent for a long time. Where are you going? That's not important. It is, he said, his eyes hard. If you go to a competitor, it will be a loss for us. That's your problem, not mine. Leo, don't burn your bridges. I'm not burning anything. I'm just choosing the path that's best for me. Mr. Harrison finally accepted my resignation, but I could see he was not happy. Over the next month, I systematically handed over my projects. As expected, Mr. Harrison began to make small moves against me, limiting my access to certain clients and freezing some of my system permissions. But I was prepared for it. During the final week, my key clients took me out for farewell dinners. They all reiterated their desire to continue working with me. Leo, we've made our decision. Wherever you go, our business goes with you, Mr. Davis said. Won't that cause problems for you? What problems? In business, you partner with people you trust. It's as simple as that. With their support, my confidence soared. On my last day, I packed up my personal belongings. Mr. Harrison didn't see me off, but his assistant passed on a message. Mr. Harrison says he hopes you can still be friends in the future. I just smiled and said nothing. Some things, once broken, can never be fixed. Our relationship was over. As I walked out of the building for the last time, I felt no sadness. Instead, I felt an incredible sense of relief. Finally, I was free to live by my own merits. My first day at the new job felt like a rebirth. No one here knew my past. No one would treat me differently because of my ex-wife. Everything depended on my own abilities. Leo, welcome aboard, the CEO said, greeting me personally. We're very excited to have you. Thank you. I'll do my best. Your office is ready, and we've assigned a dedicated team to support you. The new office was spacious and bright, with a great view of the city. Sitting in my chair, I felt a sense of control over my own destiny for the first time in a long time. The first week was spent getting acquainted with the company's operations and my new team. My colleagues were friendly and professional. Most importantly, the work environment was refreshingly straightforward. Everyone was focused on results. The second week, I hit the ground running. I contacted my old clients, and 3 of them immediately agreed to move their business over. This brought a significant revenue boost to the company. Leo, your reputation is well-deserved, the CEO said, clearly pleased. You've brought in this much business in just 2 weeks. This is just the beginning, I said confidently. Give me 6 months, and I'll double our numbers. We'll be looking forward to it. A month later, I was fully established at the new company. Business was booming. My team was working in perfect sync, and everything was moving in the right direction. One afternoon, I received an unexpected call. Is this Leo Foster? This is Dr. Evans, Emily Vance's physician. Doctor, is everything all right? Yes. In fact, Emily's condition has improved. While she still can't walk, her upper body function has fully returned. That's great news. She would like to see you. There's something she wants to say in person. I hesitated. I'm quite busy with work right now. She said she would understand if you couldn't make it, but she mentioned this might be the last time you see her. The last time? What do you mean? She's going abroad. A rehabilitation center in Switzerland has accepted her, and she's decided to go there for treatment. I was quiet for a moment. Okay, I'll be there tonight. That evening, I went back to the hospital. Emily was in a wheelchair, and her complexion was much healthier. Leo, thank you for coming. I heard you're going abroad. Yes, next month. She nodded. They have more advanced rehab technology there. Maybe I'll even have a chance to stand again. That's great. Before I leave, I wanted to thank you. For what? For coming to see me one last time. Her eyes were glistening with tears. I know I have no right to ask for your forgiveness, but I want you to know that meeting you was the luckiest thing that ever happened to me. My heart felt a familiar pang of complicated emotions. Even though I didn't cherish it, those 5 years you gave me were the most stable time of my life. Emily, let me finish, she interrupted. I need to tell you that you are a good man. A man who deserves to be truly and deeply loved. Not loving you was my loss. The past is in the past. No, I have to say it, she insisted, looking at me. Leo, if there's a next life, I hope I get a chance to love you for real. Her words made my own eyes well up. I hope so too. We looked at each other and smiled. In that moment, all the old grudges and hatred seemed to melt away. Is your new job going well? She asked. Very well. My father hasn't given you any trouble? No. Good. She breathed a sigh of relief. I already told him to leave you alone. Thank you. One more thing. She pulled an envelope from under her pillow. This is a letter I wrote for you. But don't read it now. Wait until after I'm gone. I took the envelope and put it in my pocket. Emily, I wish you all the best in Switzerland. And I wish you find someone who truly loves you. We shook hands. A final farewell. Leaving the hospital, I didn't go straight home. I sat in a nearby park for a long time, thinking about everything that had happened over the past year. It felt like a long dream. A nightmare of betrayal, pain, revenge, and finally, some kind of redemption. Now, the dream was over. It was time to start a new life. 2 months later, I heard that Emily had left for Europe. Mr. Harrison had also retired from the company, citing health reasons. As for me, my performance at the new company continued to exceed expectations, and I was promoted to executive vice president. One evening, I remembered the letter from Emily. I opened it. The note inside was brief. Leo, by the time you read this, I'll be overseas. I wanted to tell you a secret. In the very beginning of our marriage, I did feel something for you. It wasn't love, but it was a genuine fondness. If I had been strong enough to hold on to that feeling, maybe we could have really fallen in love. But I wasn't. I chose to run away. It's the biggest regret of my life. I know it's meaningless now, but I just wanted you to know that you deserve the best kind of love. Please, be happy. That's my final wish for you. Forever wishing you the best. Emily. After reading it, I let out a long sigh. Then I tore the letter into small pieces and dropped them in the trash. The past was the past. It was time to look forward. 6 months later, I met a woman at a business gala. Her name was Claire, and she was the founder of a successful design firm. She was talented, independent, and most importantly, she had a clarity and honesty in her eyes that I found captivating. Mr. Foster, it's a pleasure to meet you, she said, approaching me first. The pleasure is all mine. We talked for a long time about work, life, dreams, and reality. I found her to be incredibly genuine and direct. So, Leo, are you married? She asked suddenly. Divorced. I answered honestly. Oh, she said, nodding, and left it at that. I was grateful for her tact. At the end of the night, I asked for her number. If you're free sometime, I'd love to take you to dinner. I'd like that, she said with a bright, easy smile. A year later, Claire and I were married. The wedding was simple, just our families and a few close friends. No lavish ceremony, no complicated rituals. It just felt natural. As we exchanged rings, Claire looked into my eyes. Leo, I love you, not for what you have or who you are at work, but for you. Hearing those words, I finally understood what real love was. It wasn't passion or possession. It was a mutual choice, a shared promise. I love you too, Claire, I said, my voice thick with emotion, and I'll spend the rest of my life proving it. After our honeymoon, we settled into our new life. Claire was supportive but never intrusive. She had her own career, her own friends. We were partners, lovers, and best friends. It was a feeling I had never known before. One night, Claire asked me, "Do you ever think about your ex-wife?" Sometimes, I admitted. "Do you hate her?" I thought for a moment. No, not anymore. She taught me what betrayal feels like, but she also taught me what it means to truly love someone. In a way, I should probably thank her. Are you really over it? Completely? I said, pulling Claire close. All that pain just makes me cherish this happiness more. Good, she murmured, smiling against my chest, because we have a lot of our own happiness to create. 2 years later, we had a daughter. She was perfect, with a smile just like Claire's. Looking at her innocent face, I remembered an old saying, "The best revenge is living well." Today, I have a successful career and a beautiful, happy family. That is my final answer to the past. Sometimes I wonder, if Emily had never betrayed me, would we have just continued on? But I quickly dismissed the thought. There are no what-ifs, only what is. Her betrayal caused me immense pain, but it also forced me to grow. It taught me what to cherish and what to let go of. It led me to Claire and to real love. So no, I have no regrets. Not about the choices I made, and not about the life I have now. This is my life. A life uniquely my own. And I have finally learned how to love, and how to be loved. That is enough.